Carl Froch is a hater, man. Carl Froch is a hating ass bitch. Straight up and down. That's just what it is. Real talk, like player, hater, lay on the ground. You've been robbed. Like player hater, man. Like Froch is always hating, bro. Hating on AJ, hating on Khan. I think there was a point where he was hating on David Hay, hating on Fury. He's just always got some hating on shit to say. Now, there's a difference between being able to purvey your critical opinion, yeah, and being a hater. It all comes down to the way that you say shit. And I think part of the reason is, yeah, anytime you're a hater, you're always like really overcompensating for your own insecurities. And something that like Foch plays up to, and you hear a lot of people talk about it, is that how he was a warrior, he fought everyone in his day. And I just want to fucking go through that, man. Let's just go through that. Because if you ask me, yeah, Froch's record looks funny in the light, bro. Straight up and down. When Froch was coming through, yeah, at that time, Frank Warren was the man and he was on ITV, yeah? And all Frank's fighters were on ITV, including Kawasaki. And Froch was on Sky, which wasn't really a big thing at the time, calling out Kawasaki. And let's get the one thing straight. Kawasaki, yeah, cleaned out the division and he fought all like legends. Do you know what I mean? When he beat Chris Eubank, he beat Chris Eubank for the WBO. Yeah. When he beat Jeff Lacey was being called like the next Mike Tyson. Yeah. He was smoking dudes, yeah, for the IBF. And then he fought Mikkel Kessler, an undefeated Mikkel Kessler, who himself had unified the WBC and the WBA, and then Kawasaki beat him. Yeah. So Kawasaki cleaned out all four belts, yeah, against Eubank, Lacey, and Kessler, who at the time were like no joke. Yeah. You were talking about like all three of those guys at the time that Kawasaki beat them, like they had a claim to being the best fighter in the division. Yeah, that was on the line each and every time Kawasaki whooped somebody. And so at that point, like according to Frank Warren, he offered Carl Froch to fight. They had a meeting. He sat down, and all Froch wanted to know was when Kawasaki was going to vacate. Yeah, and then which is what happened. So Kawasaki vacated, went up to light heavy, fought Bernard Hopkins and Roy Jones, and then Froch ended up fighting for that vacant WBC against Jean Pascal, who at the time was pretty much unknown. It never really fought outside of Canada before, and Froch fought and got a very very close, some say controversial decision at home, yeah, for the vacant title. And let's get one thing straight. I think Froch was like 30 when he fought for his first world title. So he talks about people lacking ambition. Like, bro, you didn't fight for a world title until you were 30. And you know what I mean? And it was a vacant title at that. Yeah. And then he goes into the Super Six. Now, I'll try and do this as a quick thing. Let's get one thing straight. In the Super Six, Froch got beaten by Kessler, the same Kessler that got beaten by Kawasaki. Froch was saying he would have beat Kawasaki, I smoked Kawasaki's boots. Bro, you couldn't even beat the guy that already got his ass whipped. Yeah. Mikkel Kessler, he beat Carl Froch, yeah. And he got, in my opinion, a lot of people's opinion, he got beat by Andre Dirrell. Yeah. He got a hometown decision. Yeah. Same way he did against Jean Pascal. And then he got beaten for 11 rounds out of 12 against a middleweight, Jermaine Taylor. Credit to Froch, he pulled it out in the 12th round, right? So, yeah, I mean, if you want to call him a warrior for getting his ass kicked for 11 rounds, then cool. But yeah, he did pull out the bag in the 12th round and he stopped Taylor. Yeah. Who just ran out of gas, really. It wasn't really Froch that stopped him. It was just Taylor just ran out of gas. And then after Kessler beat Froch, and then Kessler got injured, and so he had to vacate his title. And then within the Super Six, Froch fought Arthur Abraham, who again is another middleweight coming up here. It was tiny, yeah. It looked ridiculous, them two in the ring. Um, he beat Abraham, yeah, who was coming up from middleweight for the vacant title. And then he made the final of the Super Six really by default because Kessler was out injured, so he couldn't fight in the final. And Durrell was out injured as well. So basically he ended up fighting like Glenn Johnson, who I think was about 152 at the time. Yeah. Um, and then he got to fight Andre Ward and he got his ass kicked, right? And Andre Ward came into the fight with a broken hand. Yeah, documented broken hand. Yeah. Um, even he like, Ward says it, like his trainer, like Hunter says it, like Ward just beat him with one hand, man. Just slapped him about with one hand. So you came out of like that tournament with two L's, yeah, two L's like Cool J, and a couple of dodgy decisions, yeah, and you come out, and at this point he's signed with Eddie Hearn, Fast Car, king of the narratives. Eddie Hearn makes Lucien Boutte out to be King Kong. This is the same Lucien Boutte that ducked the Super Six, whose team didn't want to put him in there. You know what I mean? Again never fought outside Canada. To be honest with you, his record's flimsy, bro. Yeah. You look at Lucien Boutte, the only real fighter on his record was Liberado Andrade, and Andrade like iced him out, bro. Montreal screw job. You know what I mean? People talk about Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. This was the real Montreal screw job. Yeah. Andre iced out Lucien Boutte. Yeah. The referee picked up Boutte on his feet. Yeah. Put him on the corner buckle. Yeah. Called off the fight. Everyone thought Andre had won by knockout, but no. Yeah. He called at the end of the round and they put it to a judge's decision, gave the fight to Boutte. Boutte was out cold, bro. He didn't even know where he was. Yeah. Like honestly, Butte didn't even know his own name. Yeah. Go Google it. Yeah. Andrade versus Butte, Montreal Screwjob. Yeah. So they bring Butte over with his IBF title. They dress him up on Sky Sports. Eddie Hearn like just got his Sky Sports contract. Like he's some like he's Sugar Ray Robinson. Yeah. Froch beats him. Good performance to be fair, but Butte like he didn't have a win on his record that you would have heard of. Okay, fights a couple of random bears, yeah, and then he fights a 16 fight George Groves, yeah. George Groves forced the fight, became the mandatory, and loses his trainer, yeah. Fight gets made. Adam Booth's his trainer manager. They break up. George Groves pretty much training himself, bashes Carl Froch up. You guys know what happened. Howard Foster stops the fight early. You know what I mean? Even though Froch had been hurt, much worse than that. The rematch, Froch gets it done. George Groves had gone backwards, to be fair, since he left Adam Booth. He was training himself. Had an amateur coach. He got his tactics all wrong. But again, he was a 16 fight novice. And this is supposedly a warrior. This is someone who's like the greatest of all time. Like, yo, anytime you fought anyone who was in the conversation of the best in the division, like Kessler, like Ward, you got beaten, bro. You got beaten. Yeah. And there's a few dodgy decisions in there, man. Like Andre Durrell in Nottingham, Jean Pascal in Nottingham. Those could have gone either way, man. 100%. Do you know what I mean? Even the fight against Groves on another night with another referee, that could have gone another way. So yeah, man. Bollocks to Carl Froch. He's a hater, man. He needs to shut up, bro. Honestly. He's kind of like comic relief. Do you know what I mean? But other than that, he's a hater, man. Like you look at AJ, yeah. I'm not his biggest fan or nothing. He's clearly become a bit gun shy. I'd be interested to see what he has left, but he talks about him having a lack of ambition. Joshua fought for the world title in his 16th fight. Do you know what I mean? Like in his early 20s. Carl Froch had like God knows, maybe like 20, 28, 29 fights by the time he fought for the title. He was 30. Do you know what I mean? Like, who's got a lack of ambition? Anyway, man, bollocks to Carl Froch. Peace.